Ukraine says it's sending a delegation to Washington this week to continue talks on a minerals for security deal with the U.S. Ukraine is looking to maintain U.S. military support against Russia, while the Trump administration wants a cut of Ukraine's mineral wealth as compensation. Over the weekend, Ukraine's capital was hit by a series of Russian airstrikes. Authorities say one person was killed and 3 people injured. Ukraine says Russia's ongoing attacks show it is not serious about peace. Despite uncertainty over Washington's support for Ukraine, some U.S. volunteers fighting there are not giving up. It's unclear exactly how many Americans have gone to Ukraine to take up arms, but Kyiv says around 20,000 foreigners have joined its ranks. In addition to the Americans, the Foreign Legion includes soldiers from the UK, Georgia, and Belarus. DW's Max Tsanda spent time with a volunteer unit that's hoping support for Ukraine will stay strong.
For American fighters like Zach, the idea that his president might withdraw help from Ukraine is tough to take in.
Most of my family, coming from a conservative state, they all support Trump. But for me, it's a different issue. I think what he's doing in a lot of ways is really good, but at the same time, avoiding this war is something that you're pushing something down the road that's going to be even worse when you do have to deal with it.
He came to Ukraine to fight, giving up his job at home in Texas where he worked as an airplane technician. He was looking for a fresh start and found a purpose, which now feels under threat.
America was a big part of supporting for this war. Now that we've lost the support, I feel I even called my embassy. Hey, am I doing, something okay? Is this okay to continue fighting? Or do I need to leave? What's going on here? And the people at the embassy themselves, they said, we honestly don't know.
Zach is a commander now, in charge of an infantry unit. Today he is checking in on his guys. They were attacked by Russian drones. 1 man was killed, 3 wounded. Canadian fighter Moose was most badly hurt. After the attack, he crawled 3 kilometers in the dark to reach his unit.
How you doing mentally, Bubba?
I'm okay. I'd like to go home, but
I know. We'll see what we can do. I went and saw Vivi and all the other guys. Everybody's doing pretty good. You're the only one we got to worry about right now.
Moose can't feel his toes. He's worried the doctors might not be able to save his leg. His war is likely over.
yeah.
Concern is growing in Ukraine that Trump may force a peace deal ceding territory to Russia. Zach fears this could leave a generation of veterans feeling their sacrifice was in vain.
People are tired of seeing their buddies die, get maimed. They want an end to the war, but to see all this sacrifice just washed away and for nothing. We've all seen the ends of that, and that was in Vietnam in America. We saw that what happens to veterans when their war was for nothing. They become heavy into alcohol. It'll dismantle the society itself.
Time to head back to their base in the east of Kyiv region. A quick debrief with another American from his unit. He too spent some time recovering from an injury.
If my commander tells me, hey, I need you to go back out, my head is cleared, I'm ready to go. It's just a strong mind mentality. Psychologically, I'm good.
Many dread going back, but some say they're made for this.
When you go to the front line, all your worries, concerns, all your problems, they all go away. The only thing you got to worry about is staying alive. I'm like, it's about 300 meters. Yeah.
As debates over the war continue back home, these fighters remain on the front lines, believing their fight is far from over.
For more, we can now talk to Marina Miron from the Defence Studies Department at King's College London. Marina, how important are foreign volunteers in this war?
Good day, Terry. Foreign volunteers are a mixed bag, so there are advantages and disadvantages of having foreign volunteers fight. The biggest issue is, of course, how do you incorporate them into units? They are coming from different militaries which have different doctrines. For instance, those from the United States, they're used to different equipment. And there is also a language barrier. So how can you capitalize on that and make this efficient? It means that you have to equip them, you have to train them, you have to integrate them into the units and have them operate within those units for a specific period of time in order to make it effective for them to basically contribute to the war effort. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about the Ukrainian side or the Russian side, it is a problematic matter.
We know also that Russia's military is fielding foreign nationals in the war in Ukraine. How do they compare to those fighting for Ukraine?
It is difficult to say because there is no statistics when it comes to how many foreign nationals are fighting in Russia and which roles are they fighting in. So we have those who might be joining because of economic incentives that the Kremlin has been offering to bolster recruitment. There will be those who will be coerced and sent to the front lines. And so it's very difficult to compare. Generally speaking, the reports in Western media state that they are not efficient, but the same is being said about new Russian recruits. So there is no one standard in order to measure them or even which contribution they have made to the war effort. I believe for the strategy of attrition, it might have some benefit for the Russians because they just have a numerical strength. But there are drawbacks because you need to sustain those forces. You need to have a strong economy in order to be able to afford that. And that is a difficult thing. And what do you do with them when the war ends? Again, in Western countries, you have in the United States something like Veteran Affairs taking care of the veterans. Will that happen in Russia? At least on paper, there are benefits, but to what extent it will be realized is another question. So you need to have a strategy to manage them once the war ends, and that is a problematic matter as well.
Right. Now, last week, Russian President Vladimir Putin called up 160,000 new conscripts, I understand, Russia's largest conscription drive in years. Why the increase now?
Well, the Russian law talks about conscription. So the conscription in Russia takes place twice a year. Now, we have to understand that under the former defense minister, a law has been passed to increase the armed forces to 1.5 million. Now, with the losses in Ukraine, you will have to make up for those lost numbers. Besides, despite the peace talks kind of hanging in the air, the Russians are preparing for a summer campaign. So they will need to have manpower. Whether this recruitment has anything to do with the summer campaign, we don't know because there is not enough time to train these people. But in the bigger picture, the Russians are also interested in other regions such as the Arctic. So they have to make up for the losses of Ukraine and sustain the number of their armed forces and even increase. Therefore, I think it is only logical that there will be another round of recruitment. And if we compare it to the first partial mobilization, so we have to be careful here. Conscription and mobilization are two different things. It is much less, so it's almost half of what we have seen before. So I don't think it is a surprising move or that one should be alarmed. I think this is the way that the Russian system works.
Marina, thank you very much for filling us in there. That was military expert Marina Miron from King's College London.